Happy Thursday, everyone. Tom from the Golden Goal podcast here. Unfortunately, Sam is busy tonight, so you've just got myself given a little whiz through my week in Sky and some thoughts for upcoming weeks, etc. You'll see that I am in a lovely new box, some graphics put together by a good friend of ours, Bobby. I'm going to quickly flash up his Twitter now. Here he is. Some of you probably already seen some of his Sky threads, graphics and thumbnails. But yeah, he's been an absolute legend in made some graphics for us. The next page needs a bit more formatting, so we're back to normal graphics for the next page, but I couldn't not use our lovely new graphics for at least just showing my mug on screen. My plan for this one really, just to take you through one of the teams that I've created, a view of the fixtures, some stats, and then we've had a load of Twitter questions. So thanks everyone for asking your questions. So yeah, I'm just gonna get straight into it. First up is a quick look at, well, this is my B team. My A team, Custard Cream FC. Might keep that under wraps for the season really, but Chocolate Digestive FC, I'm happy to publicise this one. As you can see, they're both very similarly ranked, so yeah, you can imagine they're probably quite similar. I went with Alisson in goal. He seemed to be the populous pick as well. Liverpool just didn't seem up to it against Fulham, did they? Conceded 2 goals thanks to Mitrovic, who I thought had an absolutely fantastic game against Liverpool. He even gave Virgil van Dijk issues, forced him to give away a penalty. So yeah, Mitrovic really impressed me. But I'm talking about Alisson. Unfortunately conceded 2 goals and didn't get any saves bonus, so not off to a great start, but certainly won't be selling him anytime soon, to be honest. I think I'll hold him right up until the 2 Forest captaincy days and then just wang him out for Henderson, but for now he just stays in my team. Romero got himself passing bonus, I think tier 1 passing, and obviously conceded to Southampton, but there's some 4 points there. Eric Dyer, the man, the myth. He didn't get any bonus, didn't keep a clean sheet, but he scored, so 9-pointer for him. Joel Matip, same story as Romero. I think he got passing tier 2, but because he conceded 2 goals, he only got 4 points. But because knowing that Konate was injured, with this team I went a bit more budget with my defenders, knowing that I would always captain Salah or Haaland ahead of Diaz or Matip. So I thought I'd go a little bit down in budget, save myself some cash and get some slightly better midfielders than in my A team, or the populous pick, shall we say. I've probably given away there who's in my A team, but whatever. And then Ruben Diaz, the typical 10-pointer for him, passes tier 2, clean sheet. City looked awesome against West Ham, didn't they? Diaz came away with 10 points, and comparatively to Cancelo, he's 1 point ahead at the moment because Cancelo picked up a yellow card. Mo Salah had him captain for his goal and assist against Fulham, so yeah, very happy with that. My cheeky midfield enabler Kamara got passing tier 1. Didn't actually expect him to get any passing bonus, to be honest, just with the way that Villa played. So yeah, pleasantly surprised to see that. Didn't pick up any tackles, and they did lose to Bournemouth, but I still feel like he'll stay in the team and continue to just plug away with a bit of bonus here and there. Bruno Guimaraes, I think he ended the day with passing and tackles tier, but I think Sky took away the tackle tier points, so yeah, a bit disappointing there. And then I've got Brennan Johnson as my other enabler, which after one game is already looking like a bit of a mistake, really, with the likes of Polinia just looking like an absolute monster. But I'm going to leave him in for now, purely because he's on all the penalties, all the free kicks. And I mentioned that I was going to take Alisson out for Henderson. Johnson actually provides a captaincy option as well for those Forest games without me having to make a transfer. So he'll stay in my team for a little while longer, but yeah, just thinking about maybe Polinia instead. And then up top, Jesus, as you can see, I captained him because he's got 4 points, and I think I was the same as everyone else, really. He looked really good in that game, but just unfortunately didn't get a return. But I'll certainly be holding him for the time being. I think he just looks really good, and I think he will guarantee, if he stays fit, at least 15 goals this season in the Prem, I would say. And then last up, got Haaland. 28 points as my captain, 2 goals, shots bonus against West Ham. Looked absolutely amazing. Physically, the guy is just an absolute tank. He's quick and he's strong. I think he'd give any defences problems. And especially Scott Parker's been claiming that he's got no defenders at Bournemouth. Really looking forward to seeing how he can get on as my captain against Bournemouth. But yeah, there's just a quick little summary of my team, and I'll talk through my plans for the week right now because I've got the fixtures. So Saturday, looking at the games, we've got Villa and Everton, Wolves in Fulham, Southampton, Leeds, City at home to Bournemouth, Brighton against Newcastle, Arsenal against Leicester, Brentford against United. I mean, just in terms of captaincies there, I think there's only really one game that I want to pick from, and probably only one game I'd imagine most people are, and that's the City v Bournemouth fixture. I have Haaland, so I think I'll captain him. I know others probably may have started with Kane and have just been captaining Cancelo. Certainly in the West Ham game, probably just captain Cancelo. I wouldn't be opposed to captaining him against Bournemouth either. I think all goes well. The floor for the Man City defenders is 10 points, whereas Haaland obviously has to score a goal and get shots bonus to match them. So, yeah, I think for me to be happy with a Haaland captain, I'd want at least a goal. But yeah, like I said, with Scott Parker complaining that he doesn't have any defenders, etc., it's set up for a few goals for City. So I'm going to stick to my guns and captain Haaland. But yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to Cancelo if that's all people had. And then Sunday, the 14th of August, I'm going to be making my first transfer. I'm going in my B team. I have to bring in Kane. So yeah, I'll be bringing in Kane for this game. I do think it's very viable to go for a Chelsea player as well in that fixture. And then obviously, I didn't even talk about the other fixture. We got Nottingham Forest at home to West Ham. And judging by the Forest performance against Newcastle, I would suggest Bowen is a pretty good captain on this day as well if you felt a bit punty. But yeah, I think you could pick Kane, a Chelsea defender, or Bowen in this one and be quite happy. And then Monday the 15th, Liverpool at home to Palace. I think we all know, the outstanding candidates for Liverpool are Van Dijk and Salah. I think I'll have Salah. I've seen on Twitter that he doesn't have a great record in Gameweek 2. I think he's pretty much blanked every Gameweek 2 he's played for Liverpool. But I just feel like they need to win this game. They need to score some goals. Palace are a good side, but they did get rolled over by Arsenal a bit in that first half. So I'd fancy Salah to nick a goal. And yeah, I fancy probably Liverpool to keep a clean sheet against Palace at Anfield as well. So hopefully some points for Matip and Alisson that were in my team. Hopefully that does us for fixtures. I didn't really talk much, but I don't feel like there is too much to talk about. We've got all those games on Saturday, but there's really only one game that I'm focused on in Sky Fantasy, and that's the Man City Bournemouth fixture. I didn't want to do stats overload, but I did pull off some interesting stats from the FOTMob website. My OCD is killing me there because these are two separate images, and the lines are a bit out of whack, so apologies for that. But what I've done here is I've just pulled off the 10 players that I've actually got the top 15, so there's some more players on the next page. But here are the top 10 players for successful passes in Game Week 1. So we've obviously got the usual Man City defender names, and a couple that probably were on most people's radar, but particularly impressed me at the weekend were Gahey and Anderson. Now, obviously, they lost the game 2-0, right? And Palace have a terrible fixture run up until, a good few weeks longer. But certainly when their fixtures start to change, I'm not sure it'd be a double up, but I'll definitely be buying one of these Crystal Palace defenders because against a team like Arsenal, they managed to achieve 90 passes each. And if anyone watched the game, I thought Anderson looked like a midfielder on the ball. He was pinging the ball long to Zaha with no issues. Really good pass success numbers. Better, for example, than Matip or Van Dijk if you look at it. So, yeah, really like the look of those Palace defenders, and I think I'll be buying one of them further down the line. Again, Kyle Walker, Matip, Van Dijk, no real surprises there. Martinez, Lisandro Martinez, the new United defender, got himself past his tier 2 as well. Not sure I'd be buying myself a Man United defender anytime soon, looking at their defensive record. But if they can shore it up, I think he's a good option because it's his style. He is a ball-playing centre-back. That's his main talent, is being on the ball and being an aggressive defender. So I'd expect him to keep up those numbers for most of the season. So I think he's a good option. And then finally on this list, I thought what was quite interesting was Max Kilman. And I think the other Wolves centre-half got passing bonus as well. Now, they played Leeds, and previously Leeds were pretty tight for giving up passing bonus. I actually think of all the teams in the league, Leeds were, under Bielsa anyway, were the team that gave up the fewest opposition passes, if that makes sense. Obviously, they got a new manager and have changed the way that they play. But I think it's impressive to see Wolves, who you wouldn't traditionally associate with passing bonus. You've got a Wolves defender there achieving passing bonus against a team you wouldn't necessarily expect to concede passing bonus either. So, interesting one to keep an eye on there. And then a couple more, just the next 5. So Wesley Fofana got himself tier 2 passing. Daniel Amati just under tier 2, tier 1. Same with Nathan Collins, the other centre half from Wolves, one to keep an eye on. And then Ndidi also got himself passing bonus, and then the old faithful Thiago Silva. But yeah, just a view there of some of the players that achieved bonus. And yeah, I think of those, I think the most interesting are Fofana, Collins, Ndidi, the Palace defenders, and Kilman. I think all of those. I love a passing bonus player in Sky, so myself, I'll be keeping an eye on all of those and seeing who becomes the most consistent with it to bring into my team. But yeah, hopefully that was interesting. And then some Twitter questions to finish things off. So Dan McKenna says you're looking at a Chelsea asset for a couple of weeks' time. Yeah, as we all are actually, because they've got a standout fixture in a particular day. Who would you say looks the best option at the moment if price was no issue, taking into account expected minutes and tiers? I think it's just about Thiago Silva for me. If last season, he's I don't want to call him aging because he's not old, but he's aging for a footballer, right? Last season, he played pretty consistently, and I'd like to think up until at least when Chelsea start playing Champions League football, he'll be in the starting 11 every week. And yeah, just sitting in the middle of the back 3, I think he will pick up the most passes of the Chelsea defence. Koulibaly is also a pretty respectable option as well. He was taken off early against, I can't remember who they played now. Everton, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, he was taken off pretty early against Everton, was Koulibaly. So I'm sure that'll change as he gets fitter. But I just think Silva's pretty much nailed for 90 minutes every game. He played really well against Everton too. He was proper, just a smart defender, isn't he? And he's in the middle of the back 3 as well. So I'd expect Thiago Silva to be top of X minutes and X tiers, etc. I'd go Thiago Silva for me. FPL Spartans, I think I already answered this one, mate, when I went through my captaincies. I'll be doing the Kane-Haaland moves. If you take Haaland out on Sunday, you can captain a Spurs player on Sunday and then the following Saturday. So on Sunday they've got Chelsea, and then following Saturday they've got Wolves. Excuse me. So yeah, and with Wolves playing a back 4, they look a bit less resolute defensively. I think previously with Wolves playing a deep-lying back 3, you'd think that would be one of the teams that Spurs would struggle to score against. But now they're playing a back 4. Obviously, they might revert to a back 3 to face Spurs, but I think Bruno Lage is trying to play a 4 now. I'd back any of those Spurs players to go off against Wolves, so I'll definitely be doing those moves. But personally, I think Son is better in the Sky than Kane with the no man of the matches. He's cheaper and the reclassifying of position as well. I think Son just edges it for me now. SkyFF Jake, he says, didn't start with a Chelsea asset. I'm just going to pull my phone out, mate, to check what day you're referring to there and what other fixtures are on that day. I think it's the Chelsea day that Dan was referring to, though. 30th. Yeah, so the 30th, is it essential to have a Chelsea player for the 30th? So they've got Southampton away, whereas Fulham have Brighton, if you're talking about Polinia and saving yourself a transfer. And then Leicester v United captaincy. I think it's perfectly conceivable, in my opinion, to buy a Chelsea player on Tuesday the 30th. Captain, well, I will be buying Thiago Silva, I think, for Jesus. I'll captain him on Tuesday the 30th. And then I will move to a Leicester or Man United defender on Thursday the 1st in a little chain. And then by the time that... and by the time that the 4th of September rolls around, Chelsea play West Ham at home, Brighton have got Leicester at home, and Man United have got Arsenal at home. I will move on to the player that I think will score the most points on that day and captain them, because at the moment I don't own a player for Sunday the 4th, so you've got to bear that game in mind as well, I think, in like a transfer chain. But I think I'll go Thiago Silva to maybe a United or Leicester player, and then you could conceivably captain them on the 4th, or you could go back to a Chelsea defender or Jesus, for example, for captaincy on that day. But yeah, I'll definitely be making a move on the 30th, cognizant too of the 1st of September, like you said, and then also thinking about the 4th when it's not necessarily a popular player on that day in everyone's teams. Sky FF Robin, I think this is the big question on quite a few people's lips, actually. How many points is a transfer worth this season? It's a tough one, this. I think... So last season, I think the consensus was a transfer is worth between 15 and 20 points, right? I think it's similar this season, to be completely honest. Like, I don't think there's that much in it. With the 2 overhauls gone, and obviously having one during the World Cup, I think it just feels to me like a transfer has a similar value. Like, you could add 1 or 2 points onto what you thought it was last season. And I know we've got 5 extra, but I do think the 2 missing overhauls will be a big factor in making us want to use more transfers. So I think they have a similar value to last season, to be completely honest. I really do. Did I say 5 extra then? I can't remember. It's 10 extra, isn't it? But even still, I think they have quite a similar value to last season. I really do. But yeah, feel free to disagree. It's all a matter of opinion, isn't it? And then final question from Mitch. He's currently got Heung-min Son, but he's wondering if Kulusevski can cover him off. But he was concerned that Kulu might be first to be subbed for Richarlison. And then Rowan Carrera. Sounds like he's a Spurs fan and knows a bit more than I do about minutes. But it looked like in pre-season, Richarlison was the one that came on for Son or Kane as opposed to Kulusevski. Haven't really seen him on the right. I've looked at Kulusevski's like attacking returns per 90, and I think since he's joined Tottenham, he may well be above Son and Kane for goals and assists, like XG and X assists per 90, expected attacking returns per 90. I think he's over 1, which is just insane. He looks a really good player, but it's a tough one. I would say if you've already got Son, I would not bring in Kulusevski to cover the captaincy. I would stick with Son and go for him. But I think if you didn't have a Spurs player, it's a bit early in the season to be different for me. But if for whatever reason your team structure didn't allow you to bring in a Kane or a Son, I wouldn't want to talk you out of Kulusevski as an alternative. The only thing you've got to consider is you're probably captaining him for not just 1 but 2 games. So if you want to go different to the crowd for not just 1 but 2 games, then bring in Kulusevski. But I just feel that Wolves game is absolute prime for like Kane or Son to assist each other for a hat-trick or something and just go absolutely mental. And I would rather be on those and get the hat-trick than on Kulusevski, him do quite well and the others blank. That's how I'm seeing it at the start. So I do think Kulu could cover him off, but I certainly wouldn't make a transfer to bring Kulusevski in if I already had Son. I think that's where I'd be. Feels like it's been a bit of a short one today, probably because it's just me rambling, and we've got most of the pre-season chat out of the way, haven't we? Let's go back to this screen. I don't know if there's anything left I wanted to talk about, really. I think one of them obviously is important chat. I don't have any graphics to back them up, but it looks like, in my view, the two outstanding cheapy enablers were Kamara and Palhinha. I think Palhinha got 6 tackles versus Liverpool. Obviously, the case study is quite small, only being one game and one of the best teams in the league. But Palhinha looked really good against Liverpool. He made loads. He made those 6 tackles. I don't think he even picked up a booking. He just looked like a really good midfielder, to be honest. So I think Kamara and Palhinha were looking like my 2 best enablers. I'm just going to have a quick look at the Wolves, because obviously we know Kilman got passing bonus. I can't even remember the name of the other Wolves centre-back now. But I'm just going to have a quick look at his price, because I think he could well be one to look at, to keep an eye on as well. 2 seconds. Yeah, so it looked like Nathan Collins is priced at 7.8, which I think is a pretty respectable price. So yeah, if he can continue picking up passing bonus, we just have to monitor how good Wolves look defensively. But for sure, if he can keep picking up passing bonus, I think those Wolves defenders become options as well. He's not quite as cheap as I wanted him to be, though. So yeah. And I'm not going to show, like I said, it's all smoke and mirrors, but it doesn't really need to be this early in the season. I've got a bit of a dilemma in my A team. I picked Thiago Alcantara from Liverpool to start. I don't know what I was thinking, really. I knew his hamstrings were going to go, and that's exactly what happened before he got any bonus or anything. And I can't imagine I'm alone in that. I imagine a few people watching this will be on Thiago. And the 2 choices I have in terms of who I bring in for him, and I don't actually know what I'm going to do yet. I think it's a close decision. I'm either going to bring him out for Callum Wilson or Mitrovic, and I haven't decided yet. So if any of you guys are in a similar boat, those are the 2 players I'm considering. If that helps. The only reason I'm considering going for the same price is that I've already got 2 midfield enablers under like 7 million. I asked the question actually on the 3-for-1 pod. Fergie answered it. Thank you, Fergie. He just said, if you can, go for a cheapy enabler like Palhinha or Kamara. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. But I already have both of those, so I think I'll just be going for a like-for-like. And going for an extra striker as well improves, in my opinion, the structure of my team, and allows me to go from Haaland to Son rather than Haaland straight to Kane. And like I said, I think Son's a better option. So yeah, I think team structure-wise, it makes sense to move Thiago for me onto one of those 7.9-ish strikers. Yeah. That's about it, really. It feels like a short one, but I think we've only got 1 week's worth of stuff to talk about, haven't we? And I did a lot of jabbering away before the season started. But yeah, if you liked what you saw, give us a subscription, like the video, give us a comment. I'm there. I usually look at the YouTube comments pretty much every day. So if you've got an extra question or whatever you want to ask, just put it in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you next week, hopefully. And Sam should be back as well. I believe it was his girlfriend's birthday tonight, which is a good excuse for not doing a pod with me. So I understand, Sam. And yeah, hopefully you're back on next week to chat some Sky with me, mate. All right. Bye, everyone.